Clinton Miner here from Sawtooth Bushcraft. Oh, what a great day. Sun is just about ready to come over the mountain to the east of me. I'm walking along a beautiful trail. There's still some leaves on the Quaking aspen and some of the other plants. But I've come on a spot that I wanted to share with you, talk a little bit about a different experience or a different thing that we need to know when we're out in the woods. I've come upon a place that I wanted to share with you, a location that has a different skill that we need to learn in the woods, and so I'm going to share that with you, and I'm going to show you a little panorama of where we are. So this is where I've come to on the trail. The high peak you see right now in the center of the frame has a lookout on it, old Forest Service lookout, where they would be stationed all summer watching for fires. It's been essentially abandoned for about 30 years. I think Doppler radar put that whole industry out of business, but what a beautiful day. I'm coming back around to the area that I've shown before, looking back down the trail, and we're going to come back around and focus in on a little creek that we're about to cross. I'm going to go ahead and walk that way. Someday I'll have a gimbal and we will be able to edit this a little better, but I want to show you what a incredible resource is here. Got a little pool there where the water is crisp and clean and clear. I can tell you 30 years ago, till the early 80s, I would have simply laid down right here and put my face in that water and had a drink that would quench thirst and revive the spirit. But over the years, especially early 80s, the Giardia started showing up even in these high mountain streams, and so I've got to be very careful about that. I do carry in my pack a Sawyer water filter so that I can deal with a situation like this, but obviously a perfect place to fill that Sawyer without any debris or any contaminants other than the little live beasties that are in there. That is where you want to get your water, a spot like that, where it's been running over rocks for quite a ways, dumping into a clear pool that's deep enough that you can fill your water without picking up any sand or floaters. Unlike the previous videos where we showed using the bandana. Up ahead here I've got a spot that at least 2 days ago when we were in here, it had a little different sort of water, and we're going to spend some time there with another way to pre-filter water. So this is the water that I talked about earlier. Let's say that I'm in a situation where this is the only water I can find. It is just a seep here, and so it's probably not got a lot of bad stuff in it, except that I think they run cattle in here. I think there's also been elk wallows in here, so this is marginal water. You can see the green in there, some algae growing, and it's not very deep, so it's going to be hard to get it without any sediment. So we'll go ahead and set this up, and we'll see how it works. I've been talking a little bit about water over the last few weeks, and wanted to share with you a little idea that I've been working with. I'm sitting here at what is a seep that just runs right through this little meadow, and while I've got nice running water I showed you earlier, and actually a fairly substantial stream just off to the left here, there are times when this is the water you've got to face, and I'm out of water. So what I'm going to do is get some of this water, and we're going to go through some processes to get it in a little better shape. And I don't know how to do this other than to get wet. I did bring my kneeling pad, but much as I try here, I'm getting some sediment. I'm getting some of that lovely whatever it is on the bottom there. And go ahead and rinse the bottle off so we can see what we actually got. It's not real pretty. One of the things I typically keep in my day pack, I carry it in my long-term pack as well. It's in my bug out bag. I also have decided we're going to put some of these in the Mary Poppins bag. It's something that I think has great benefit for both someone who's out in the outdoors for hunting, camping, hiking, but also has the benefit if you're in the process of trying to prepare for whatever kind of an emergency. In our area, that may be flooding, earthquakes, those types of things. That item is something that's very simple and very inexpensive, and that is just your basic coffee filter. These looks like they came from Fred Meyer. They're very inexpensive. There are 200 in this pack, although this pack only has a few left. They have multiple uses, as I said, and the first use we're going to look at is how they can help us in this situation where we're trying to pre-filter our water, get it ready for our Sawyer. So I'm going to set those aside for just a minute here. Dig down here in the pack. Got my single wall stainless steel bottle. It's actually my water bottle, and it's full of fresh water from home. We'll put it aside for a moment, and then we'll get down in and pull out the nestling cup that it sits in. You'll recognize that in that cup, when the bottle is in there, I keep a bandana. That serves two purposes in this situation. Obviously, it's the pre-filter we've already shown in previous videos, but it also keeps that stainless steel bottle from rattling around in my enamel cup. Today we're going to just use this as a receptacle, and we're going to take one of these coffee filters, and I'll tell you that they are light enough and cheap enough and abundant enough that typically I would use two, but we're just going to use one to see how it works out for this particular purpose, and we're going to talk about some other purposes in a little bit. So I've got my coffee filter. I'm going to stick it here in my cup. Convenient that it actually, you know what, I got two, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them apart. Really am going to just stick with the one. Pull those apart, stick it down in the cup, and I'm going to take this water, and you'll see that water. It is not real pretty. It's got a lot of junk in there, and it's mostly, I think, organic material, broken down that moss and algae that's growing in there. I'm going to start with a new filter and take that dirty water and just put it in there. Let it run through that filter. I'm going to squeeze too hard because I don't want to be pushing anything through that I don't want. But what I'm going to show you to start off with is that's what we were able to capture. Obviously, that's going to make a substantial difference in what you're drinking. It's going to make a substantial difference in keeping your filter clean, not plugging that filter up. And we're going to go ahead and just pour this back in and see how it looks. Now, it's not going to be clear by any stretch of the imagination, but quite a difference. And I think that if we went with we're going to try again. We're just going to put it through another filter. This time I'll go ahead and do the 2 filters, but go ahead and pour that in there. Once again, show you the filter. We captured that much more the second time. I think 2 filters obviously works a little better, but that's a lot of junk that I didn't want to drink that is out of that water. Clear that out so there's none of the old water. Let's put this back in. Oh, this is looking a lot better. Now, we lost some, but what a difference. I mean, that is very close to clear water. Obviously, our water purification tablets are going to do a lot better. It's going to taste a lot better. It's going to go down a lot better because there's going to be a whole lot less sediment in there. And anything we use to purify this, whether we filter it through any type of filter, your Sawyer or your Trail, pump style water filtration system, whether we're using the water purification tablets, whether we're boiling it, especially if we're using that ultraviolet water purification pen, this is going to come out much, much better when it looks like that. That's one of the purposes for which we can use these coffee filters. And we're going to go over to a log here and talk a little bit about some of the other things that we can do with a basic coffee filter that costs not even pennies. Light to carry, easy to tuck away. Just wanted to give you a little closer look at the water we ran through that coffee filter. It was fairly brown, and you can see as I put it here in front of the camera that we got most of the nasties out of it. So made a huge difference.